Hello and welcome to yourlocalnote.com. Thanks for checking us out. We've got another podcast. We are featuring Song Dogs, and they're going to be up in just a couple minutes. But I want to remind you that yourlocalnote.com is the place to discover new music and new bands solely in the Philadelphia area and the surrounding counties. So check it out. Tell us what you think. We stream 24/7. Plus, we've got free apps for both iPhone and Android. All you have to do is go to the respective stores, type in YLN, download it, absolutely free, and then you hear nothing but great music from Philadelphia musicians. We're going to get to Song Dogs in just a couple minutes. Right now, we're going to play the title track of their new album. It's called Wild Country on yourlocalnote.com.
His dreams, sitting by the creek side. There's a time when a boy becomes a man, starts wondering the reasons why. There's a time when I knew I'd follow the sunset, move west across the prairie, and the city called, and I answered a prayer, started wondering the reasons why. I keep telling myself, oh, telling myself, oh, telling myself, oh. Looking back on a boy, dreaming of a prairie sky. I'm tired of the questions without answers, tired of wondering the reasons why. I keep telling myself, oh, telling myself,
The song is called Wild Country. That is the title track of the latest album by Song Dogs, and they are in the studio as we have a brand new podcast this week. Guys, welcome. And gals, I should say. Guys and gals, welcome.
Right.
Hey.
Stone Dogs.
Let's introduce yourself and tell everyone what you do in the band, and also give out a shout out to the people who are not here. We'll start with Dan.
Dan, I play drums. Give a shout out to Sam, the bass player, and Emily, the keyboardist, who are off doing better things, I suppose.
That's not really what I wanted to hear. I thought the best thing, Dan, would be to hang out with us.
That's why I'm here.
Okay.
Mike, guitar player.
I'm Ryan. I'm a guitar player as well.
I'm Mariama. I'm the percussionist.
Okay, very cool. All right, tell us how the band got together, and how did you come up with the name Song Dogs?
Well, I think Mike would be the best one to explain how we came up with the name Song Dogs, and I'd like to talk a little bit about how the band came together. So,
all right,
Mike, can you tell us a little bit about the origins of the Song Dog?
Sure thing, Ryan. So, the idea for this project sort of came years ago when I was in college, and I had these songs sitting around, and at that time it was just me alone in my apartment. Mm-hmm. And I was calling the band Factory Girl because I really liked the Rolling Stones song. Okay. I thought it was really, salt of the earth, and it just rung true with me for a little while. All right. But I went one evening. I was writing, and I wrote this song called Song Dogs, and it was based off of the old American Indian mythology surrounding the coyote, the trickster. Okay. And the idea of the song, and it's actually on our album, is one where I imagined people as being these tricksters, these song dogs who are always hurting each other but loving each other, coming together through their music and through their love of life. And when I wrote that song, I was like, that's what the band is about. Okay. It's not this other idea. That's what the band's about. So Factory Girl got tossed out the window. Okay. Before a recording was ever made. Okay. And Song Dogs stuck after that. Okay. And Ryan, then follow up on how the band then came together.
So Mike had recorded several tracks actually on his own before any of us had met him, and he had some early versions of some songs you'll even hear on this debut album. I first met Mike in 2008. We were both working at South Philadelphia High School. I met him at an orientation. Okay. Didn't even realize that we actually had coincidentally moved in across the street from each other in Roxborough. Okay. All right. So even though we were down at Braun and Snyder at South Philadelphia High School, we'd actually moved in right across the street from each other in Roxborough. And I was coming home from getting my groceries, and I saw this guy, and I was like, hey, there's that guy with that crazy tight jeans and the big belt buckle and the wild shirts. There he is. He's following me home or something. And we realized, oh my God, we live right across the street from each other. So
you were relieved he wasn't stalking you.
Yes, I was relieved. Well, actually, you could see in each other's windows and stuff. So still some questions there. Yeah. And our Sam, our bass player, was also working at South Philadelphia High School. So the three of us met. We had a band called the After School Band. Okay. We played a talent show for our Thanksgiving. Are you teachers? We were both teachers. Okay. Mike's an English teacher. I'm a Spanish teacher. Okay. And Sam works for an organization called City Year. All right. City. He works at Overbrook High School now. Okay. So we played a talent show, played Mustang Sally, and a few other classic numbers. Right. Song Dogs was something that Mike had in mind. He had the idea for how he wanted the sound to be, a few songs, and he put together an outfit. We went up and recorded a few tracks in Central PA and Mifflinburg, and came back and kind of cooled off for a while. So it took a little while. We had some ups and downs through some concerts. People quit the band. People came back to the band. We had a couple other members that left. It was just Mike and I playing some spots around Center City at the Raven Lounge for a while. And, and was Fergie's. Sam coming in and out too? Sam was coming in and out. He had some different projects he was working on as well. And then in 2010, we really formed a cohesive unit. We had met Mariama from playing around. She's playing all kinds of clubs around. She's all of a sudden she just showed up with the djembe drum, came up on stage, and just 3 hours of banging the drums. Right. Banging the drums away. Next thing we knew, we had a band. We had Song Dogs. Okay. We met Dan. It's really when it really started to come together. He and Mike talked about Neil Young, and it was like... And that was it. Cosmic Brothers. Okay. Like, oh, man, All right, excellent. And that's the band now. And we've been together as in this form for
when did about the keyboard? When did Emily come on board?
Emily's actually my sister.
Oh, okay.
And always wanted to get her on board. She's phenomenally talented musician and has always kind of been the musical one in the family. So she went to Villanova University and was playing with us a little bit there, and just keeps making appearances with the band. Okay. Came in to help record the album, And as she's moving back to Philadelphia here in the next couple months, hopefully she'll be a regular part of the set.
Okay. You're gonna have to, if she doesn't, you're gonna tell your mom and on her and stuff. No,
I will.
Yeah.
And then there's.
I just wanted to point out too that Emily was actually the poet laureate of her Villanova class.
Okay.
And she's traveling the country collecting poetry now.
Okay.
So last we checked in, she was in Hawaii.
I think that means she's smart. I'm not really sure about that. I just went to a state school, so very cool. That's very cool. I kid, but that's quite an accomplishment. So you guys then solidified over the last 2 years then.
Yeah, it's really been in the last 2 years that the sound has come together and the band's really started to gel. And I think the best part about the last 2 years is Ryan mentioned I had this idea for a sound in my head ever since college, but it wasn't until the last 2 years that the Song Dog sound really kind of came together, and it's been everybody's vision and everybody coming in and bringing in their input, and a lot of people saying yes before anybody said no, that has made what I think is an album that's filled with everybody's vision and everybody's input and all of our influences, which is the most exciting thing about the band, I think.
Well, let's get to those influences. I was going to ask you guys each individually, what were the influences that made it so agreeable between all of you to get that vision of Song Dogs and make it a reality? And we can start with whoever. Dan, if you want to start. Just a couple of your influences that you brought to the band.
I mean, as Ryan said, when I first answered the ad for Song Dogs and met Mike, I was playing in a cover band. And I'd played for years and years and kind of always dreamed of playing pro, but the few $100 a night playing covers was feeding me nicely.
Yeah, right.
But it was also sucking my soul out, and I said I need to be playing original music. And yes, a second I sat down with Mike, it was, who are your influences? And Neil Young, definite hero for me and hero for Mike. So as soon as we figured that out, we really gelled. And then as far as drummers, Gene Krupa, the great jazz drummer, I always thought, my dad was always like, this is a guy that really knows how to drive a band, and he sits down and the whole band follows him. He has that power. And John Bonham and Keith Moon, really power drummers. Something I'm actually working on right now is not playing quite as hard.
Yeah.
So there's some dynamic in our songs.
Was that a suggestion from the other members of the band?
That was a suggestion to myself from myself, actually, at this point. Because I'd always
don't play so hard.
songs keep getting to a climax, and I find that I can't play any harder, and I can't drive the song.
Okay.
So that's kind of my new project.
Got it. All right, Mike?
But yeah, I, as everybody says, Neil Young kind of was the man, and I got into Neil Young when I was real young, and I remember sitting with my grandmother in the car, and we were just coming back from Old Country Buffet or something like that, and I was like, "Grammy, put on this cassette." So we threw it in there, and I just started talking about him, and Neil Young does this, Neil Young does this, Neil Young does this, and she says to me, "Michael, this is a man singing?"
Yeah.
She was shocked. But I mean, I got into Neil when I was really young. I got into the Beatles when I was 5 because I was watching Sesame Street and the Muppets came out and sang the song "Let Her Be," and I was just what is this sound?
Yeah.
It's incredible. And so after that, I just started going through my parents' record collection, and 60s and 70s. Beatles, Cream, Simon and Garfunkel, Bob Dylan, that really got me going, and eventually I kind of stepped into the heavier sounds of those eras, and that was all I listened to straight through high school. And once I got to college, I kind of started to get into, I guess, the more underground modern rock sounds they're happening around the country, and it all those kind of ideas kind of came together, and I think really had an influence on what we do today.
Excellent. Marima, what are some of your influences that you brought to the band?
I would say Whitney Houston.
Okay.
The person that I listened to first. I love her music, and she has a powerful voice and all of that. And then Lauryn Hill, who I listen to, who is wonderful. So there was some soul kind of deep so there for me. And I was like, wow, she's good. But then, the way I grew up, I was not sure what I was going to be playing the drums with anyone because I was still afraid to play the drums.
Right.
But I wanted so bad to play the drum. But I just kept listening to this artist, and I got a lot of influence from them. I didn't know how it was going to play out.
Right.
So I was
when you walked on stage with these guys for the first time, what made you get up with these guys and start?
Well, I was playing with a girl band before I met them, so that kind of gave me a confidence more and to play more in front of people. And so when Ryan called me and said, "You want to play?" I said, "Sure." So I came, and there were these guys. And I was like,
oh, and how could you say no, right?
Mike, at the time when she did come up on stage, we were playing "I Will Always Love You" by Whitney Houston.
Nice. All right. Well, that makes all the sense in the world then.
It was. And we do. I think they were the one that really I felt comfortable with. Though.
Ryan, now what were some of your influences?
There's so many guitarists that I love. Let me start with David Gilmour. You'll hear some of that on our track Dark Cloud on the album. I love the way that he does some kind of bends that sometimes you feel like, I don't know if this works. And then it just, all of a sudden you're like, oh, that was beautiful at the end of it. Mike and I have talked about John Frusciante a lot, and just the way that he might play a very simple melodic line or play something really hard and fast and crazy, and really just do either one depending on the song. So he's never showing off. Everything's dependent on the song. Bob Marley, I love the use of thirds and sixths and different pretty melodic lines, and his playing as well, and Peter Tosh's playing. I love Mike Campbell from Tom Petty and the Heartbreakers. I like his attitude, I like his face he makes, and I like the way that he just comes in, with these little riffs, just yeah. It's really nice, really, really nice. And I learned a lot from just vagabonding around. I spent a lot of years traveling around, staying in hostels and staying with strangers and taking rides and going around South America and Mexico and different places. So I learned a lot from just jamming on boats and on buses. And at one point I was with a truck driver for a few days, just sitting in the front, just playing as many songs as I could all the time. A lot of that shaped my playing. I used to play under the name Miles West in California for a while.
Okay.
And I'd introduce myself as that and pretend like that was my name because I know that Bob Dylan had done that, and I was dumb and didn't realize that everyone would eventually find out that like it wasn't really my name. So after that, I didn't have too many friends. But all of those guys and the writing of Jack Kerouac and Pablo Neruda and The Road and everything. So we talk a lot about concepts in the band as well, like the concept of like, you're trying to find something and you can't find it, or Mike and I talked about, well, what if the things that you think are the best in your life are actually the things that will destroy you? And we think about like concepts like that, and we'll try to shape something around that and be like, all right, well, we're going to shape this song around that, this line around that.
Okay. And we're playing songs off this is your debut album, Wild Country.
It's our debut album. We had an EP. It came out in 2011 called Song Dogs and the Nightjar. So this is our debut full-length album.
All right, so the second song we're going to play is the Nightjar song, and we're talking with Song Dogs, and when we come back, we'll talk about what that song's about and how it was written. So we have the Song Dogs here on yourlocalnote.com.
Rise now, old prophets, we leave our ears to the ground. We are new giants. We listen to the sound. The sky's falling. The west is calling. The nightjar's singing. her song. A stable I built with my own hands. But my love, she is wild, and her heart is the land. Her song.
That is the Nightjar song. They are Song Dogs, and you're listening to yourlocalnote.com. You talked about just coming up with the concept and then writing about it. Your first EP used the term Nightjar. What was that song we just heard about?
Well, Nightjar is a family of birds.
Okay. I've learned something already.
Not nocturnal birds that come out and sing at night. They include like whippoorwills, nighthawks, chuck-wills, widows, and they have these really haunting calls usually that you'll hear if you're like out in the woods late at night.
Yeah.
And I just thought it was such a cool pairing to go with the image of the coyote or the song dog howling at night. So that, put those two ideas together, and then no one ever remembered the name of the band. So, so we dropped the Nightjar, but kind of as a tribute, we wrote this song about the Nightjar, which you just heard.
Okay, excellent. These songs now, maybe you can speak to the differences between writing songs for the EP and writing songs here. What's the process like with so many people, so many members in the band? Is it some one person like Mike? Would you just bring a concept to the band and then you'd all talk about it? How does that process go with you guys?
Let me just say, Mike is a fantastic songwriter. So he oftentimes will come with stuff that just makes us all smile and just feel like butterflies inside, and we're like, oh my God, that's it. We just feel great about it right away.
Yeah.
And with several of these songs, Mike just came in with something that was gold, and we'd come up with parts and say, all right, let's do a different arrangement, or let's cut this part out, let's do this here, let's put a harmony on that. But he'd often come out with lyrics and with bass lines and chord structures that we could really do something with. Now on this album, there are songs written by everybody in the band. Everybody's written different songs and parts to songs, lyrics, melodies, structures. Actually, in one of our songs, Buffalo Crossroads, Maria is even singing in her native language.
Nice.
Yes, at the end, right? She's singing in her native language. First, for our drummer Dan Cooper, he wrote Dark Cloud, which is one of the songs on our album as well. So he came to us with all these lyrics. We were really excited. We're like, oh my God, we see it. We can see the vision. I think a lot of it comes with like we can see what the song, we can see the feeling and the vision and what the song is about and who's in the song.
Do you find with as many people as you have, and the fact that you have all these different ideas, how difficult is it to then streamline it to get it to an album? I mean, it sounds like everyone is contributing. Who then organizes and says, okay, we're going to work with this, we're not going to work with this right now? How does that process go?
Well, one thing I'll say is our producer had a couple of songs. He just said, nope.
Okay. That's got to be a blow to the ego, though, right? You work all that time on the song, and then the producer's just like, yeah, nah, we'll talk to you later about that.
Well, the producer, album was produced by Bill Moriarty, who did Dr. Dogs, Sheepdog Records, Man Records. So, we had a lot of respect for him. And we knew who he had worked with, and we already appreciated it, so we already really valued what he had to say. And we went in there with more songs than we knew we were going to have.
Right.
So
you knew there was going to be some rejection.
Right. We knew there was going to be some rejection.
Still doesn't make it easy.
Yeah, and I really valued his opinion on that. And, man, sometimes you listen to a song over and over and over and over again,
right,
and you say, this has to work. And
right,
sometimes the hardest thing to do is say, no, it doesn't.
Got to let go of it.
Yeah.
What was the difference, though, between putting the EP together? Did you guys produce that yourself?
No, we produced that with Paul Atkinson.
Okay.
Down at RM Studios in Manayunk.
And then tell me the difference between the EP and the album, how just the experience of putting that together.
They were two really different experiences. The EP we recorded track by track, and when it was all said and done with, it sounded great. The production was awesome, and one thing that was left to be desired was this kind of raw feeling.
Okay.
Because when you build something over a long period of time, the emotion that was there in the original moment starts to die off.
Okay.
So, what we really wanted to do with this next record was record as much of it live as possible.
Oh, okay.
And so this record, guitars, bass, drums were all recorded at once. And then we added little things here and there. And I think the emotion and the concepts and the raw feelings and the raw energy is preserved much better in this record than in the first one.
So you like the process of recording it all at once instead of track by track?
Absolutely, yeah. That was a lot of fun.
Okay. Now, with the amount of people you have in the band contributing to the different songs, I guess the process of coming to your practices or whatever and saying, okay, here's a new song. I mean, is this a democracy where you sort of take a vote, or who's the heavy and has to say, yeah, that we're not going to go with that?
Maria.
All right.
She's like, no.
No, I think it's been really collaborative, and I've been in so many bands over the years that have been really good. I don't know if any of them have been this good, but good enough where we felt comfortable and we felt like we could at least make some money and play great shows.
Right.
And all those bands had horrible ego problems.
Okay.
Horrible. And I think every time someone comes with a new song, it's fully collaborative.
Okay.
I don't think there's ever been any time where someone said, this is how it has to be.
Okay, so it's ideas. Here's my idea. What do you think? And then everyone then contributes.
Exactly.
And that probably makes it easier then to work with.
Yes.
All right, very cool. All right, let's go to song number 3, and that will be Victoria. Who wrote that, and what is it about?
That was another really collaborative song that came together really nicely in the studio.
Who started with the idea?
Well, lyrically, that's all Ryan. And I think he can talk to that.
But Mike had come up with guitar parts, and there was a different song around that or something. There was a collaboration before that, and we talked about. Mike was always saying, "Oh, cool! It'd be cool if we put some stuff in Spanish because I'm a Spanish teacher."
Okay,
put stuff in that language, and we talked about, what about the story about all of these guys getting on the Grandma, sailing to Santiago de Cuba with the Castro brothers, and just getting off the boat, getting slaughters to get off the boat, and coming up there. What were these guys feeling? And we talked about, it'd be cool if we made a kind of a double entendre with with Victoria as being the woman that this guy loves, and also he's trying to get this Victoria with Castro as well. So it means two things.
Got it. Yeah. Very cool. All right, the song is called Victoria. We are hanging with Song Dogs from their latest album, which is called Wild Country, on yourlocalnote.com. Victoria.
My heart's gone flying, feet are on their way. This life is only worth what's done with each day. 7 days alone, a few men out on the sea, and the lights of Santiago, they sing their song to me. Una vida solo vale lo que haces no más. 7 días solos, somos cuantos el amor. En el horizonte morado, Santiago de Cuba.
That song is called Victoria. The album is Wild Country, and the band is called Song Dogs. This is yourlocalnote.com. We're hanging with them on this week's podcast. Let's talk about where you guys are going to be performing, where people can catch you.
Well, this Thursday, April 4th, we're going to be opening for Hollis Brown at Kung Fu Necktie.
Nice.
That's going to be a great show.
Good.
They're a fantastic band. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Excellent.
And that's going to be an earlier one for us, too. We'll be playing around 8:30 probably.
Okay.
So that's an early one. We also have a show coming up a little bit later on. We're playing the record release of Josh Popejoy at Milk Boy in Center City, Philadelphia, and that's May 30th.
Okay.
May 4th, which is a Saturday. We're playing at 1 o'clock, which will probably be our earliest show ever.
Oh, wow.
A lot of people are always like, oh, you play so late at night. I want to go to sleep. So this is kind of like... everyone better come out for this one.
Yes,
so
absolutely.
we say. But it's on South Street, part of an indoor-outdoor festival.
Cool.
We'll be playing on Dobbs' main stage.
Cool.
Free show also.
Nice.
Again, it'll be a great day. Great day.
May 4th?
I think May 4th, wherever that first Saturday in May is.
Okay, we'll make sure we get that in there. And if we have to correct it on the site, we will do that. Now, where can people find your music and download it?
We have a brand new website. It's wearesongdogs.com, all one word. We have the album streaming. We have our Facebook updates on there, our Twitter updates. We have video. We just started a blog that's linked there. All our shows, our press. Before that, we didn't really have a great website, so we're pretty excited about it. We're also on Facebook, obviously, Twitter. You can purchase our album via our website. It's linked to Bandcamp. We do a digital download and come out to a show, and we'll sell you a T-shirt and a real CD.
Excellent. All right, and we have the final song of the podcast, Careless. What can you tell us about that song?
This is a song written by Sam Conver, and we love the blues feeling of the song. We love his voice, his longing, his grittiness in the song, and we wanted to do something that just was a callback to that classic rock blues sound. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope you enjoyed listening to Song Dogs from yourlocalnote.com.
What are you doing the sign off already? Take it away, man.
Signing off. This is Song Dogs.
Guys, it's been fun hanging out with you. Thanks so much for coming in and sharing your music with our listeners, our visitors.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us. Very nice. Thank you.
No problem. They are Song Dogs, and their debut album is called Wild Country, and we'll get to Careless in just a minute. But let me remind you, we will have another featured podcast next Monday, and don't forget to download our free apps for iPhone and Android, and sign up for our newsletter, too. Every week, we'll send out news from bands and artists just like Song Dogs. Just email us at contact@yourlocalnote.com. We've been talking with Song Dogs. We'll end with Careless off their debut album, Wild Country. Thanks for listening to yourlocalnote.com.